Well, let's get straight to the bull boy because he's here. The man that broke up a marriage, the man that broke up a university, the man who's the best combat sports handicapper in the freaking planet, Joey Delicious, Joey Bagels, Joey Oddessa. Joey, tell us about the UFC coming up this week. But we had some great, crazy things happening last Saturday. We'll get to that. What do we got coming up this week?
11-fight card. This is one of those cards, again, where a lot of people won't recognize these names, but there's some real talent on this card. You know, Robbie Lawler, he's coming back here. He's in here on short notice. But, I mean, Lawler started his career in 2001. Think about it. He's only 38 years old. He started real young. He's got, like, what, 48 fights under his belt. He's fighting Neil Magny. That's the co-main event. But in the main event, we got a spot here where Alexander Rakic, I hope I said his name right, from Austria, he's fighting Anthony Smith. Now, this Anthony Smith, I mean, I think he's been, you know, kind of, you talk about right place, right time. Smith has seemed to be in the right place at the right time for his bouts. He had a real close bout with, well, Hector Lombard was beating him for 2 rounds. He comes back, and that's kind of where he started gaining a little bit of momentum. Walked himself into a fight against John Jones where he got smoked. He could have, you know, Anthony Smith could have been the UFC champ. John Jones kneed him in the face. I think it was the 4th round, was an 8-8 round. But if Smith just, you know, credit to Smith for not taking the DQ win, I'd have taken a DQ win. You know what I mean? And just giving him a rematch. Win's a win, man. It's about the money. But anyways, he's in this spot here against Rakic. You know, Smith's taking some real damage. You know, people expect him to beat Glover Teixeira after he beat Gustafsson. I think Rakic beats him. You know, it's gonna. This is one of those bouts where it's a heart test for Rakic. He's gonna, you know, if this goes wrong, Smith's gonna test him because Smith does have heart, but he takes a beating, and he might be there if this, you know, 5-round fight. If this goes wrong, Smith might be there in those late rounds, but I don't see it. I think Rakic will stop him.
Last week, Joey had something on the undercard that was unique. It was the biggest upset in UFC history. You had Agapova, the Kazakhstan fighter, a 12-1 favorite, fighting Shanna Dobson, who was plus, I think, 938 at fight time. And you said, this looks ripe for an upset. The Philly Godfather said when he saw the Kazakhstan girl, Agapova, coming out dancing, he wanted to bet against her. You guys were right. Biggest upset in UFC history. What do you got on the undercard this week?
Well, you know what? I'm liking Alex Caceres. He's fighting a guy from Georgia, not Georgia the state, but Georgia I guess Georgia the country, Tbilisi. Giga Chikadze is his name. Now I butchered the name, I know. But what I'm telling you is,
what was his name again, Joey?
Yeah, let's see that one more time.
Giga. I'll go with Giga. Okay. I got
Was
his name wrong.
Was that the fake word for the Falwells?
Chicka. You're right. But anyways, I think that Alex Caceres might catch the chicken here at dog money. I mean, they bet this kid. He opened -170. He's up to like -250. And these early moves, I think these early moves are bad. I saw, I think this is a winnable fight for Caceres. Giga's got a lot of hype behind him. He fought in Glory. It was like 46-8 or something kickboxing record. But his Glory record was 6-3. So it's not like he was a world beater over there. He got subbed on the Dana White Contender Series like 2 years back. He's 3-0 in the UFC. 2 split decisions though. And the guy he beat by decision was this Rivera kid who was from my neck of the woods in the 845 in New York, downstate New York. And Rivera was on short notice. Rivera got, in defeat. Rivera got, positive reviews in defeat, went out, won his next bout. But I think that some of these early moves, I don't like these early moves. Neil Magny, there is one that, the number's starting to get a little bit high. Opened up -195. He's up to -250. The women's fight too. The Korean girl Kim is getting some money. She opened up the Fave opened up their grass, opened 350. She's down to 310 now. So again, I think this card's a great card. I think Caceres can get there. Neil Magny. Robbie Lawler's been around forever, and like I said, Rakic.
Steve, you're a brilliant guy, and I'm not being facetious when I say that. I mean that from the heart that you are. I respect you very much for your brain power. What do you think the closed caption person is doing right now on that name? Are they just like typing everything in, just like an alphabet, like alphabet explosion?
That's all they can do. I mean, what else can they do? I'm wondering is the other kid a Greek kid, Joey Caceres?
No. He's they call him Bruce Leroy. He's got a big afro and
is he half Greek? Does he eat
Not
feta
really.
cheese? Does he like
What?
Greek salad?
I don't know. That I don't know. He's got 12 losses, though. Well, that's not really a trait of Greeks, so we're winning. But
Hey, Joey, we have our live Twitch show, right before UFC, an hour before the prelims, every single Saturday. You guys, you and the Philly Godfather break it down in such an incredible way. We go over where the sharp money's going, the public's going. We were talking the main event of last Saturday. Frankie Edgar, I think, surprised a lot of people. Goes down 20 pounds, first time down at bantamweight fight. Is Frankie Edgar going to be around for some time at 135?
it looks like it. I didn't think he was going to win that fight. I had a red pen. I wrote Frankie. I wrote down Munoz with my red pen. And I had to throw it out, man. I got a green pen this week. Superstitious. I didn't see Edgar. Well, I thought Edgar lost the fight. I gave Munoz round 1, 3, and 4, which was enough to win. But again, I said during the week, on some other shows that you don't know what you're getting with these judges. And, how could one judge have it 49-46? And I just don't see, I didn't see it 49-46.
We talked about that. Remember, Joe, we talked about that Saturday, the UFC lean. If they're leaning a certain type of way, and you sent me the punch numbers, and obviously Munoz won the fight, when it came to the stats. But visually, the fight looked a lot closer. At worst, I thought it was a draw. At best for us, obviously, if it was a draw, we would have been all right. But visually, it looked like he was just getting off more. He was faster. Even though some of the punches weren't really landed, it looks like he was just doing more. And I think that's all the UFC needed to lean that way, and that's who they really wanted to win. They can push Frankie Edward more than they can push Munoz. So I think that UFC lean is definitely real.
But here's what I think real quick, Joey. Let me jump in. That one of my sources inside the UFC told me that the only reason that Frankie Edgar's still fighting is just he gets paid a lot more than other guys at his weight. And if he's not motivated, how is he going to continue to get down to 135, which is an unbelievably hard cut for a guy who'd never done it before? If he's going to fight long enough to win a championship, you're talking 3, 4, 5 fights. And if you're not motivated, how are you going to get down to 135 every single time? I find it very difficult to believe he's going to fight a lot down there.
Well, you know what? He looked like, he was beat up a bit, but, cardio-wise, he probably could have fought another 3 rounds, it seemed. One thing, when we're talking about decisions, though, I wasn't happy with that decision. This Rakic guy who's fighting Anthony Smith, it's funny because he lost his last bout, Rakic did. Rakic lost his last bout by split decision against Volkan Ozdemir. And I know I blew that name, but it doesn't matter. My point that I'm making here is Smith's got a victory over him. Both these guys in the main event each have a loss. But Rakic lost. I don't know anybody. And when I say I don't know anybody that didn't have him beating Volkan on the cards. I think he got robbed. He sucked it up. He said, you know what? It's the way the ball bounces. I'm coming back and I'm going to beat Anthony Smith's ass. That's what it pretty much boils down to. I like the fact that he got beat, though, because now he's hungrier. And Anthony Smith, again, Anthony Smith, that John Jones was his Super Bowl. He beat Gustafsson after that, but Gustafsson just got beat by Werdum going up. And Gustafsson, he retired and came back. And I think that Rakic is in a really good spot here. I think the price might be a little high, but I think you'll see some dog money there because Anthony Smith has this, something, this mystique about him, about being, a come-from-behind fighter, and everybody likes that kind of an underdog.
Hey, Steve, right before we go, I want to go into the NBA, and we got a college football future coming up from you at the end. But real quick, not talking necessarily about Frankie Edgar and Pedro Munoz, but when you're handicapping a fight, you handicap a lot of boxing. You're an old boxer yourself. You train fighters. You have to take in the fact when you're betting on somebody what the judges are and who the crowd favorite is, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to boxing, you just look in the corner, and you see if one fighter has 5 cornermen and the other guy's got 2, well, the guy with the 5 cornermen is usually with the promoter, and that's the A side, and there's always a B side. Now, that's where a lot of research comes in, and you got to know who the B side is, and maybe he's coming in undervalued. Maybe he had a couple personal problems. He hasn't fought in a couple years, but you look at his amateur background, how he did in the amateurs. Did he win any national golden gloves? Who his trainers are? Who he's fought, how he's performed. Does he have power? Because as we all know, like the great Tyson said, you get punched in the face, it changes your whole game plan. So usually the team with the promoter is the A side, and that's what you got to look out for.